Hello, 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 hello. Welcome back to Down the Rabbit Hole. We are on episode 172, and we are talking about the Shiloh National Military Park. I am currently watching Gilmore Girls. I am currently in sweats. If you can't tell, messy bun, because let's be honest, today's one of those days where I don't want to look pretty. Unfortunately, I have no one to be impressing, so here we are. We're just gonna record just to record, and if you don't like the way I look, it's a good thing this is a podcast, right? And you're just here for the national to hear what I have to say on this topic. But with that being said, if you're new here, hit that like button, ring that bell for notifications. Also, please subscribe, help a girl out. Um, Today we are going to be talking about the Shiloh National Military Park. And basically, I'm a huge history nut, and this is a part of history. And this is all here on Down the Rabbit Hole. This is one of the many topics that we like to talk about. I know that just now. I don't know why, but but Shiloh National Military Park preserves the American Civil War Shiloh and Corinth battlefields, and it's the main section of the park that is unincorporated in towns of Shiloh, about 9 miles south of Savannah, Tennessee, with an additional located in the city of Corinth, Mississippi, 23 miles southwest of Shiloh. Now, the Battle of Shiloh began a 6 month struggle for a for a key railroad junction at Corinth. Afterwards, the Union forces marched from Pittsburgh, landing to take Corinth to make Corinth in a May siege, and then withstood an American October Confederate counterattack. Now, the sh- now the Battle of Shiloh was one of the first major battles in the Western theater of the American Civil War. The 2 day battle, April 6th to 7th of 1862, involved about 65,000 Union troops from Ulysses S. Grant and Don Carlos Buell, and about 44,000 Confederate under Sidney Johnson and PJT Bogard. Now, the battle resulted in nearly 24,000, give or take, being killed, wounded, and missing. And the 2 days of lightning did not end in the decisive tactical victory for either side. The Union held the battlefield, but failed to pursue the withdrawing Confederate forces. However, it was a decisive strategic defeat for the Confederate forces that had massed to oppose Grant's and Burr's invasion through Tennessee. Now, after the Battle of Shiloh, the Union forces proceeded to capture Corinth and in a critical junction, railroad junction there. Now the battlefield is named after Shiloh Methodist Church, a small log church near Pittsburgh Landing in Tennessee. And Pittsburgh Landing is one of the and it's at one point in Tennessee where the Union forces landed for the battle, and they referred to it as the Battle of Pittsburgh Landing. Now, the Shiloh National Military Park was established in December 27, 1894. In 1904, Basil Wilson Duke was appointed commissioner of the Shiloh National Military Park by President Theodore Roosevelt. There was a request of local farming that had grown of their pigs, rooting up the remains of soldiers and had fallen during the battle, insisting that the federal government do something about it. Now the park was transferred from the War Department to the National Park Service August 10th of 1933. As with all historic areas administered by the National Park Service, the military park was listed on the National Register of Historic Places on October 15, 1966. On September 22nd, 2000, sites associated with the Corinth battlefield were added to the park, and the siege and the Battle of Corinth sites were designated a National Historic Landmark. On May 6, 1991, the National Parks Travelers Club held its 2013 convention at Shiloh. And as of early 2024, the battlefield the American Battlefield Trust and its federal, state, and local partners have acquired land to preserve the 1,554 acres of the battlefield. Um, More than 26 um, different transactions since 2001. Um, Now, most of the land has been sold or conveyed to National Park Services and incorporated into the park. So now you can go visit the Shiloh National Cemetery because it is in the northeast, adjacent to the visitor center and the bookstore. It is buried within the 20.09 acres of the 3,500 Union dead. 2,300 give or take, were unknown, and who were interred in the cemetery it created after the war in 1866. Now, there are two Confederates dead interred in the cemetery, and the cemetery operations were transferred to the War Department and to the National Park Services in 1933. An unknown number of Confederate soldiers are interred in the mass grave. Now, let's talk about the Shiloh Indian mound sites. The Shiloh battlefield was within its boundaries in the well-preserved prehistoric Shiloh Indians mound sites, which is one of the National Historic Landmarks and the sites that were inhabited during the early Mississippian period from about 1000 to 1450. That is it for this episode. You can join me next time as we talk about the Cornton Plantation. This is a fun podcast after all. So War Eagle, happy Thanksgiving. Y'all have a great day.